My top 5 all-time list, in no particular order, is Eminem, Drake, J. Cole, Lil Wayne, and Kanye. Now, let me explain. My criteria for this is who has the best bars, who's able to be super creative, who can you listen to over and over again without getting tired of them, who has the most longevity in the game, and I'm sure part of it also has to do with like the era that I grew up in. So before you hate on my list or tell me why I'm wrong, remember it's just my opinion and like of course I'm influenced by the era I grew up in. Now to give out some honorable mentions, and I'll tell you why these people didn't make my list. First up we have Nas, incredible rapper, but aside from Illmatic, none of his other albums compare to that level, so not enough bangers like I could listen to over and over again. Then of course you have his nemesis from the early 2000s, Jay-Z, and the reason why I didn't put him up there is because I consider him to be like a great all-time artist, meaning his songs are very well put together and like he does have a huge library of music, but I don't consider him to be like an all-time quote-unquote rapper. Then you have Outkast, incredible novel sound, but not enough songs that I can play back and consider amazing, but of course they did have a great run. And Andre 3000 is a legend in his own right. Busta Rhymes, this is a tough one. And I'll put Twist up there too if we're talking about rappability and speed, as those two are two of the best to ever do it, and each has a ton of awesome features as well. Some of their verses like are absolutely insane, so both of them are definitely on the cusp in my book because of their incredible talent, and like I'll even put Tech Nine into that class as well. Another honorable mention that falls just short for me is DMX. This guy of course is one of the realest to ever do it, so especially in an era where we find that like a lot of these guys are CIA ops. Now I get that, but like it also doesn't take away from any of their talents, so I try to set all that aside, but X was a real one. He went hard, he always went hard, and he has some of the best hype songs ever. But as far as how many of his songs can I listen to over and over, is he at the level of Eminem, Drake, Lil Wayne, Kanye, and J. Cole? Probably not. Now the reason I don't say Biggie or Tupac isn't because they weren't amazing, but because there isn't enough of a library unfortunately, so of course their longevity gets shut down. And also I was born in 1996, which makes it harder like to feel the vibes when you weren't around for them, hence why all of my choices were ones who I was alive for and was able to feel the impact of all their verses. So I realized while I was editing this video that I forgot to mention one of my all-time favorite rappers, who may actually be like borderline on my top 5, and I can't believe I forgot about him, the legend Mac Miller. May he rest in peace. He had some super deep lyrics and like super deep songs. Of course he also had some shallow ones, as do all these rappers, unfortunately. But something about Mac always felt like super genuine, and you could feel like what he was feeling, and he seemed to have a really good deep soul. Some other noteworthy favorites of mine are also Big Sean, Logic, and B.O.B. But anyways, that's my list at the moment. It could change at